Alright, this is going to be a video about hypervigilance, a response to Green Machine. Because I thought, and I think it was Green Machine that said this. What up, Green Machine? I thought that you could tell when someone's looking at you. Because I've had examples in my life where it turned out to be true. And the example I mentioned was when I was being stalked by a cougar. And I'm like, something's up, and I'm looking around, and I look straight up, and there's a cougar looking over the edge of the cliff thing. There was a double cliff, and I was on the lower section, and I'm like, well, I could see no one's around because I'm on a ledge. And it's like, so I look up, and the next ledge above me is a cougar, and I'm like, so I felt that. But so Green Machine was like, I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's a thing. So I looked into it. And Green Machine, you're right, except that the reason why there was some legitimacy to that theory is some people score way higher than normal on this kind of thing. But these people had hypervigilance. And so I suffer from hypervigilance, and I hear things. Like I'm listening intently all the time. I'm looking intently all the time, and not just like scoping the surroundings, but assigning behaviors and even counting things that I see. Sometimes I even count behaviors. So, but it's to an unhealthy level. So a friend of mine was walking up behind me as I was walking up to a building, and I turned around to say hi, and he says, how'd you know I was behind you? And I'm like, I could see your reflection on two different walls of this building. So like, I'm walking to the front doors like everybody else, but I'm also watching everyone in front of me, watching people through the glass on the other side, see what's happening inside the building I'm about to go into, and I'm looking at reflections and looking at how many people are behind me and what they're doing. It's exhausting. It's awful. It's stressful. It's anxiety. It's an anxiety problem, and my nervous system is just at the highest level at all times. Like for me, driving is exhausting, but really just being in public's exhausting. That's why I can't do crowds very well. There's just way too much going on for way too long. And it was also why I was so successful in my security business. It was really easy for me to recognize patterns of behavior and be there when things went awry, or sometimes be there before things went awry to keep things from going bad. I try really, really, really hard. All my life I've tried really hard to get like some good sleep. But so like I try to like focus on dreaming a lot, but like sometimes my hypervigilance and then trying to be a conscious dreamer ends up having conflict dreams that sometimes get so bad that I had to sometimes I've had to like put pillows around me like a crib, because I will punch and kick and fight when I'm asleep. That's only when things are really, really bad for me. But for instance, I might wake up with the knowledge of how many times it rained in the night. Like, I think I would be like a fantastic sailor for that. I think I'd be the type of person that like would just immediately wake up the second like the wind or tide or whatever shifted. I'd immediately come up knowing how long I'd been asleep and what's going on with the weather conditions, but who knows? Oh, it's so good. So good. Yeah, I would say it's awful. It's awful to suffer from hypervigilance. And ways I've tried to cope with it, reading books. I mean, that's why, like, for the most of my life, I've been an obsessive reader. That's one of the reasons. beer. Just a couple beers drops your nervous system down a couple notches. Two more beers though, and your nervous system's frayed. It's a little bit worn the next day, and so that could make things worse. Not to mention struggling to sleep, and then not getting very good sleep. Exercise. I've been accused of being addicted to exercise. Not lately, but that was one of the reasons why I was quote unquote addicted to exercise, because like you get exhausted and suddenly like your nervous system drops way down. Yoga was really helpful for that. Yeah, I always thought, like, in my mind, if things ever got really bad in my life, I'd try to become a triathlete. I don't want to run or swim or anything like that, but I was like, I would need to, like, take part in some sport that was, like, year-long and consuming. And, like, hopefully, like, drop my my agitation level down to a sane level. I've had people point out to me, like they recognize so I didn't realize I was suffering from hypervigilance till pretty late in life, and it was pretty much only when people started noticing different behaviors of my own, because in my mind I'm just behaving normally, and like most people aren't. Most people just don't pay attention to things going on around them. I didn't realize that I was paying too much attention to things going on around me. Then I've had people sometimes, like one guy in particular, I don't know, he was just being a dick, but like he had noticed a couple of my behaviors and he thought they were I was being affectatious. And I said, no, I'm just hyper aware all the time, and it's not a good thing. I'm not trying to pretend. And he's like, you're trying to pretend. And I'm like, I told him how many people, so we're in a 2-room bar and you can't see in the next room, and I told him how many people were in the next room, and he went back in there and counted, and I was right. And then he came back in and said, like, how would you know that? And I'm like, I could even tell you how many of them have something on their belt. And then he was just kind of disgusted with me. I think he was probably just disgusted with himself. I think he was hoping that he was gonna catch me being a faker. I guess a fake paranoid person. I'm not paranoid, but I'm certainly, way too fucking aware.